Hey Olympians, I'm back with another beautiful day of detailing. Today I'm going to walk you through how I do exterior washes on this Toyota RAV4. Here's everything I will be using to perform this exterior detail. So first thing I'm going to do is get the wheels. So first thing is I'm just going to get my wheel bucket ready. I'm just going to put everything in here. And then I'm going to fill it with a little bit of hyperwash. I'm just going to foam it up. And I have brake buster in here. And I'm just going to rinse down the wheel. So I'm just going to spray it down with some of the wires all cleaner. Let that dwell a little bit, and then for the rest of the tire and the wheel well, I'm going to spray the brake bomber or the brake buster. First, I'm going to tackle the wheel barrels. I'm going to get inside behind the spokes. This gives the wheel a universal clean. And unlike a car wash, where you just get the faces, you can already see right here, we're lifting up all the dirt. And by scrubbing it, I'm making sure that it'll come off. Next, I'm gonna get the faces with my big brush. So first I get the faces, then I'll turn it around. There. Just want to make sure that I'm getting all the surfaces of the wheel. And I'm going to get the lug nuts. And then I'm going to get this part right here, inside between the tire and the wheel, which holds a lot of dirt. Now I'm going to make sure I get in the tread so that when I put the tire shine on, it looks good and it's not brown, it's that black that we want. Finally, we get the wheel well, which holds a lot of that dirt that's picked up from the tires. And I'm just going to rinse it down. First, I'm going to use my turbo nozzle. This just spins around, and it's really good for getting that wheel well. I'm just going to rinse everything down so that I can move on to the next wheel. Now I'm putting my brushes on a plastic pad so that they're not picking up rocks and all the dirt that I just cleaned with, so that I'm not transferring it over to the next wheel and potentially scratching it. Once that's done, I'm just going to put it back into the dry side of my wheel bucket. So after we finish up the wheels, I'm just going to get my buckets ready for the wash. So I throw in a new foam mitt, and then I'm going to fill up my bucket with some Meguiar's Hyper Wash. This stuff's just really good at breaking down all the dirt and getting the car ready for a wax. So now I'm just going to foam it up. And I'm going to have a second bucket, so when I'm washing, I can come back and knock off all the dirt that I got on my foam mitt. That way I'm not dragging around all the dirt onto other surfaces of the car. So now I'm just going to pre-spray with some invisible cleaner. It's called Nonsense. It's just like a degreaser. It's very concentrated, so it's great at being a pre-wash for the car. So I'm just going to spray down all the extra dirty surfaces that I want to get some extra love before I come in with the foam cannon. So I made sure to spray this a lot because, as you can see, it's extremely dirty, and I want the cleaner to have some time to dwell and kind of eat away at, let's say, a high traffic area, so that when I wash with my foam and my mitt, it's a lot easier for all the dirt to come off. So once I've sprayed down all the high traffic areas, I got some Hyper Wash in my foam cannon, and I'm just going to foam down the whole car. Or while I give the cleaner some time to sink in and eat away at the dirt, I'm going to come around with my brush and I'm just going to get all the tiny little cracks that I'm probably not going to be able to get with my wash mitt. Such as like the grill right here and the emblems. And this way I'm just making sure that I'm getting all the details so that my clients are satisfied. Something like this mesh grill, you're better with a noodle mitt, but I'm still going to get it anyway because two's better than one. And this is a super soft brush, so it's safe on paint. I'm not worrying about scratching the paint. My brush is really dirty. I can always just come in here, wash it off, get some new soap. So now I'm going to rinse it. I just want to rinse off the surface dirt. That way when I come in with my mitt, I'm not risking any scratching because all the dirt, or most of the dirt at least, is already off of the car. Also, when I'm rinsing, I want to rinse from top down. That way I'm not bringing up any of the dirt and I'm just letting it all flow to the bottom. Now I'm just going to foam it down again. This just provides some lubrication for my contact wash, so I put risk to a minimum. Now I'm going to move in with my brand new wash mitt. I'm going to wring it out a little bit so it's not as heavy, filled with water, and just so it's got some nice soap on it. So when I'm actually washing it, I want to work in the direction of airflow. That way, if I do scratch the car, it's less noticeable because it's going with the light. At first, I'm just going to get the tops. I don't want to touch the bottom because the bottom is where most of the dirt is. So I'm going to work on these upper panels first. I'm going to use a separate towel to get the windshield wipers because those are also very, very dirty. Now I'm going to go ahead and get the bottom. And these noodle mitts are great at getting these mesh grills because the noodles actually go into the grills and clean them extremely well. So I'm going to make sure I'm getting under where that plastic part is. Flip it to my clean side again, just to finish off this side. Wash it against my grit guard. It's going to help take out the dirt from the wash mitt and trap it underneath the grit guard in my bucket so that I'm not transferring any old dirt back onto the paint. And once I cleaned it, I take my wash mitt, get some new suds, and I'm going to move on to the next panel. So same thing, just top down, work this section. I want to make sure I go over it twice, maybe 3 times. It's really dirty. I'm not going to hit this lower panel yet. I'll save that. Make sure I'm getting the door handles. And I'm going to move on to the next section. Make sure I get the corners of the window. Again, I'm just going to stay away from that bottom. And then once I'm ready, I'm going to flip my microfiber cloth, and then I'm going to go ahead and get the lower rocker panels. I just want to save these because these are really dirty. And I don't want to bring up any of the dirt onto, let's say, a clean panel or a cleaner panel. So now you can kind of see these yellow little specks on the paint. This is just rust. So now I'm going to go ahead and use an iron remover to take care of these little specks. So now I'm going to go ahead and spray some Adams iron remover, and you're going to see the iron actually come to life. And it's going to look like a purple kind of bleeding, and that's going to signal to me that the iron's ready to come off. But instead, I'm going to show you what I do instead to help make my exterior washes more efficient. So I'm just going to spray this on pretty much the whole car. So I'm going to let that sit until it turns purple, and then I'm going to foam it to give it some extra cleaning power, and that's going to allow me to let the iron remover sit on the paint for a little longer, just because when I add more foam, it's gonna not allow the iron remover to dry. So it's been about 3 minutes and you can already start to see purple little streaking, and this is the iron remover reacting with the rust. We got a lot right here. Actually gonna foam it again to provide lubrication for the clay, and I'm gonna clay and decon the iron in one step, and it's gonna look great. So I'm gonna be using a clay bar from the rag company, and this is usually how you clay bar. You just go back and forth in really small motions, and this is gonna help clean the surface and provide a really smooth surface. It gets out all the embedded contaminants in the paint that you're not really able to wash off with the mitt and with a traditional, car wash. So you need to clay it before waxing, before you're gonna paint correct, before you're gonna apply ceramic coating. This is the step that you really need, and it works great with the iron removal. So now I'm just gonna do this to the whole paint, including the roof. Just back and forth. And I'm working really fast here because this paint isn't bad. You can't hear any like grainy, like sandpaper noise. I'm gliding on the paint. I can tell that I don't really need to spend a lot of time clay barring this car. And just from driving, all those contaminants are really gonna get caked on. So I didn't film it, but after you clay the car, just make sure you rinse off all the iron remover and all the soap, so you're ready to dry the car. Before I finally dry the car, I'm gonna get the door jambs. I'm gonna make sure I get up here too. This is the first thing you see when you open the car, so I'm gonna make sure I get it. And here too. I'm just using an all-purpose cleaner, diluted 10:1. Now I'm just gonna dry it. I have some dedicated waffle weave towels for drying. So my client opted in for a paste wax, so I'm going to use iBiz Everything Wax, and I'm going to apply it with an orbital polisher. So I just put a little X on there, and I'm going to apply it just like this. When I'm working with a polisher, I don't want the rope to hit the car, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the cord over my shoulder like this. That way it's not hitting the car. So I dried the car, so now I'm working on a dry surface. So I'm gonna come in with a new towel. I'm just gonna wipe it off. This is after about like 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes. And like I said, it's pretty cold here, so you can give it a lot of time. Like let's say if it's warmer out, I wouldn't want the wax to sit on here nearly as long. But once it starts to haze, that's how I know it's ready to come off. And I'm just going to come in like this and buff off all the wax. Really what this is doing is just leveling it out so the surface smooth, and that gives the paint that beautiful shine. For the interior windshield, I just like to spray it all. Spray my tile a little bit. And then I love this invisible glass setup. Really helps on getting deep into the windshield that you can see on the outside, but you can't really see it or get it on the inside. So having this tool really separates you from the competition by being able to get deep into the windshield. And once I get most of it, I'll spray the top, spray the mirror. I'll get these just with my hand. And you know, let's say you're getting streaks and that tile's too saturated, just come back with another towel and get the rest. If it starts to grab, that's the last of the streaks saying, oh no, we're done. So when it starts to grab, just know you're almost done. I always sit on the passenger side because I'm a righty and I'm able to lean over and kind of get the rest of that with my right arm. And I can get the whole windshield on one side. I don't have to move back and forth.